you here today.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on your show.
Yes, no, a pleasure to have you. You are a master of champagne, and I'm just so excited, elated. I'm here with a master today.
Well, you know,
This is crazy.
a lot of hard work, a lot of prayer, and a lot of I have a great wine tribe, great family, great church tribe. So I couldn't have did it without them. Absolutely.
Okay, well, tell everybody who you are and like how did you come to this journey? And there's a little bit of feedback.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's on my end or yours.
Oh, let me see. Let me adjust this a little bit. Is that better?
Yep, that's much better.
Okay. All right. Well, hold on, before I start, can I pour me a glass first?
Oh, well, you know what? Of course,
All
because like people want to know what you're gonna drink, but I think they want to know who you are because they're like, who is this down there gentleman right now? So,
Absolutely. Well,
you got your tie on, you got your vest on, like you looking like Easter Sunday in February. And I'm like, come on now, you can't get sharp on this podcast. I'm here for this.
hey, well, definitely. Well, my name is, if you don't know me, my name is Cornelius Anthony Jr. Certified sommelier through the Court of Masters. I'm the first African-American master of champagne in the state of Texas. Champagne is more than just a beverage, it is a lifestyle. So hence, that's why I dress the way I dress. And this is me all day, every day. If you see me and I'm not dressed like this, you probably will walk past me. Everybody's used to me dressing like this. Rain, sleet, hail, snow, Monday through Sunday. This is just me. If I showed you my closet, you'd be like, wow, okay, yeah, you doing a lot.
Okay.
Doing a lot.
Okay. So I feel like I have to call you the champagne master because that's a huge accolade. So go ahead and pour up and please tell us what are you sipping on tonight?
So tonight I'm drinking, it's my bright light, you can see it. It's Domaine La Bordier, based out of the Aube or the Côte d'Ivoire. It's 100% Pinot Noir. This is the Sanye method. So it's made the blending method or the historical method of champagne, or how they traditionally used to make rosé champagne. There are two different methods, but this is also one that's very popular for some wineries. I love this. Very super small producers. Only make 4,500 of these bottles. Yes.
Whoa.
Only 4,500 of these bottles. Beautiful husband and wife combination that's been doing this, I think, since the 80s. Single vintage comes from also from Louis or single vineyard as well. This is known as Dulce Foyer, means sweet madness in English. No, it's not sweet at all though. It's bone dry. It is an extra brut style of champagne. I do love it. It's one of my personal favorite rosé champagne. Rosé champagne is actually my favorite style of champagne, to be honest with you.
So we're putting a combination together. So you like rosé, you like champagne. So today,
Put them together.
bring both worlds together.
Put them together. Actually, honestly, besides champagne, I probably drink more rosé, like still wine rosé, more than anything else. Honestly, that is like my jam. I've always been a big rosé person. I probably drink just as much rosé year round as I do champagne.
Well, listen, we are here for that. Clearly, as this is the rosé hour, and I don't know if you would look around. I really like rosé. I like pink. It's a thing. It's not a lifestyle. It's a habit.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
It's what we do, right? It's what we do.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you are pouring it up. We're not gonna talk about what I'm having because it's nothing like what you're having. This just some rosé. So
Cool, but we can still cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. Cheers to you. So, but no, I've been on this journey for about, it's 2016, about 7 years. I got into wine on accident. I moved to Houston in 2009. I'm originally from St. Louis. I see you from Chicago. Aren't you from Chicago? All right.
Oh, so you my brother from
Absolutely.
Mother.
Midwest thing. Came to Houston, taught middle school for 2 years, and got my master's at Prairie View. I graduated, got my undergrad from Southern University, so I'm always going to be a Jaguar, always. Got my master's in construction management. Did that for a couple years, worked for a small cabinetry company doing project management. Wound up getting laid off. They got bought out by big boys. And my division was the first one to go. And so I was a newlywed at the time. So the bills never stop. You gotta pay the bills. So I applied for an overnight position at Kroger's. I was looking for, just something I could do in the evening time and nighttime, and then, save some money on daycare, because daycare is expensive, super expensive. Went to the job, and the manager was like, "Say, hey, man, you are way too qualified to be working overnight. Way." And I dressed just like this. It was like, man, I could give it to you, but I think, there's something a little bit better out there for you. And I do have a job for you if you like it. I was like, what is it? I'm like, at this point, like, I'm desperate. Like, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll bag groceries, whatever you need. I need something. So you want to be in our wine department? Over our wine department? I was like, sure. I didn't know nothing about wine. Absolutely.
Like, it tastes good.
Yeah, it tastes good. Hey, champagne, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, cool. She's like, hey, you got to go through this real rigorous wine training. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm not tripping, not worried about it. Hey, I just got to learn the stuff in my department. But that conversation changed my life. I wound up meeting my mentor, and a year later, probably less than a year later, 6 months later, I became a certified SOM. I got past my junior SOM in January 2017, and then I became a certified SOM in July of 2017.
Wow. Okay. This is like, right? Because you're saying, hey, I was just living life. I was trying to put food on the table, pay bills. Life was lifing, and someone put this before me. I drank wine, but like probably wasn't your calling, right?
Right.
I'm pretty sure when you went to the club, when you went out to, order drinks, was wine your preferred drink?
Not at all. I mean, I always, like anybody else, I would buy bottles of champagne to pop. I didn't understand, appreciate what it was, as I do now. So yeah, I never really been a big hard liquor person. I never been into, drinking hard liquor. Only hard liquor I used to drink was Alpha Punch. I'm an Alpha. So.
Okay. Enough said. Okay. I understand. I have blacked out, not blacked out in a bad way. But I have had the Alpha Punch at my alma mater, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I understand. And one of my best friends, who's an AKA Melinda Magnificent Mill.
Oh,
yeah, she has made sure I understood what that was. So I totally understand. And you made the transition from, dabbling in your, fraternity drink to now wine.
Absolutely.
What was that like? Like, someone's like, hey, come to the wine department, learn more about it. Like, were you apprehensive? Was it like challenging? Like, how did you feel about that?
I mean, honestly, to be honest with you, it really wasn't the wine, like the actual wine itself, that drew me into wine. Like, I was a history major. So, like, learning about wine and the educational part and learn about the history. Because when you're studying wine, you learn in geography, you learn in history, you learn in economics, you learn in a whole bunch of different subjects, all inclusive, and besides learning just about the actual wine itself. The wine, to me, is kind of like the cherry on top. When you're studying wine, it's kind of like putting a sundae together, and then at the end, the cherry on top, that's you actually trying what you're tasting inside of a glass. That's what actually drew me in. That's what actually drew me to Champagne. Champagne is a very, very historical place, whether people understand it or not, and it's a historical significance and ways around the world and things that we've studied in school that people don't probably even understand.
So wine, champagne. I think a lot of people don't know, right? I think people drink to drink. You go to a liquor store, you see the sales, you're looking at, well, I want to celebrate. It says sparkling, and it's in the same section So you think, oh, sparkling, that's champagne.
Right.
Like, how did you learn the difference between like the wine, champagne, and like how did you even like come to be sort of like this is my niche?
Okay.
Like not the sparkling shit, excuse my language.
No, you good.
But the champagne, like that's my jam.
Well, I mean, honestly, like when I used to study class, used to try different stuff, and it always appealed to me. Just the process of how it's made. I always try. I think champagne best represents me as a person. It's beautiful, but it's complex. You know, and that's really how champagne is. A lot of people don't even recognize champagne as a wine. They put wine and champagne in two totally different categories, but it's really one and the same. It's really the same thing. It just goes through the process twice instead of one time. So, you know, that I would say that. Also, you know, that was probably the most familiar wine I would use. Like I said, when I would go out, that's what I would drink. Either get glasses of it, buy bottles of it. You know, when it's a celebration, that's what everybody goes for. You know, nobody's bringing a bottle of Cab to a party, maybe a regular party, or a bottle of Chardonnay. But most people don't. You know, some people do, but you know, it's a big celebration. It's a wedding. You know, you got a promotion or something. Most likely, you pop in a bottle of drinking a bottle of bubble.
Interesting. Okay. And like, I saw there was a comment where someone was like, champagne is like liquid history.
It is.
How can people like understand what that means? Like,
okay.
I think people think, oh, wine. You know, people go back to the biblical days, right? There's that story where Jesus turned water into wine. It's one of my favorite stories because I'm like, well, what kind of wine was it? Like, you know, was it red? Was it white? But like, how do we get to this like champagne has history behind it?
Okay, great question. Well, every major European war, like all the way going back to like the 100 Years' War, was fought in Champagne.
Really?
Have you heard of Attila the Great?
Yeah.
The only war he ever lost was in the region of Champagne. The 100 Years' War, the 16th century religious conflict, World War I, World War II. I'm probably missing some wars. All those, because where Champagne is located strategically, it's just at a place where it's close to Belgium, it's close to Germany, so it's at a strategic place where, you know, it's easy to get to because it's close to so many borders. So every major European war that you've studied about in school, Champagne has been affected in some way.
Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead. You know, I'm branching.
No, it's good.
Did champagne have something to do with it?
No. You gotta understand, like, the French, champagne became, like, once champagne became what we know it as today, as far as the beverage, it became synonymous with France. So let's take, for example, like Hitler. Hitler really wanted France, but he wanted champagne even more. Like, he actually put a czar, like they call him the Weinführer. He actually was stationed in Champagne during World War II just to like go house to house and try and take all the wines that were actually in Champagne. Like literally, there's a story of how he went to who was it? Was it I think it was Lady Bollinger. I think it was Lady Bollinger. The Weinführer name was Otto Kirchmann, and he came to her house and was like, hey, what's up? What is champagne at? And she was like, hey, can I sit down? And she gave him a chair that was too small because, you know, she was trying to get him out of there.
Right.
Robert Devolier, who was the marketing director for Moet, who actually started Dom Perignon, he was a person that was an advocate of trying, basically was kind of like the voice of the people of Champagne. And he actually wound up getting put in a concentration camp because he would not help the Germans find where the champagne was hidden. Yeah.
Yo, this is like, people in the comments are like, my head is blown. Like,
yeah.
The emoji of the brain popping off right now. Like, first of all, didn't know Hitler even had a czar or a person that he appointed for that. That is so crazy. And then I'm gonna go further and say like probably Joseph Stalin probably did something like this too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Champagne in Russia has a great history. Like Cristal, y'all know Cristal, right?
Yeah.
You know the bottle with the yellow wrapper and the gold wrapper on top of it or whatnot. That actually was made for a Russian Tsar, Nicholas Alexander or whatnot. That's actually why it comes in a clear bottle. because he wanted a champagne. He didn't want something that the commoners would drink. So he made Louis Roederer made him a special champagne. He wanted to be called Crystal. So they called it Cristal. It came in a clear bottle because he was afraid that people was going to try and assassinate him. That's why it comes in a clear, flat bottle. Yes.
This is oh my God! Like,
yes.
I'm gonna take
Hey,
it.
take a sip. You know the story about Anastasia. You heard about Anastasia, the princess Anastasia, where everybody said was missing. She wanted to die. That was her father. That was her father. Yeah. First prestige cuvee ever made was 1876 for Russia. It was a sweet style. They didn't make champagne, brut style champagne that we drink today did not come until like a little bit after that by Lady Pommery. She created the brut style that we have today. For the English wanted something less sweet. They wanted a drier style of champagne. So yeah.
Are you doing a podcast called? I mean, I know, Comedy Central has drunk history, right? Can you do a podcast? Because like my mind is so blown. Right, my Invisalign is like dried up with all of the like craziness that you're saying right now. It's like, girl, you can't speak. Like, this is so insane. I had no idea about half of this, like 90% of what you're saying right now.
It's a lot. Yeah, I can go as deep as you want, but yeah, like the White House has an official sparkling. They don't have a champagne after they have an official sparkling. Stromsberg, it's the official sparkling wine of.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I do dabble there, but I didn't know, like, historically, we're taught all this stuff in history class, right? And we are not taught, and I think it's because, like, America is, like, conditioned to be, like, because of prohibition,
right?
And, like, we're not supposed to be drinking, up with hope, down with dope, right? Like, don't drink, don't smoke. But, like, there's so much history combined into this industry that is $1 billion, $1 trillion that, like, we have no idea about.
Can I give you one? I'm gonna give you one last story. One last story. You ask me the next question.
More with the story.
So, you heard of Charles Heidsieck, right?
Yes.
Okay, Champagne Charlie. Champagne Charlie is like, I consider him the father of American champagne. He's one who came over here and brought champagne here. When he did, he came here, was selling champagne. They wind up, he was going down to New Orleans to try and get some money. So people that owed him money for his champagne. He didn't have the money, so they gave him cotton instead. This is during the Civil War, all right? They gave him cotton instead. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna ship this cotton back to France. So he was on a boat. Of course, he got caught up in a blockade by the Confederates, and they wound up by the U.S. Army, and they jailed him, and he lost everything. Absolutely. Stayed in jail for 3 years. Got out of jail. Abraham Lincoln and the King of France actually was able to get him out of jail. The guy who actually owed him money wound up giving him the money and gave him the land. Guess to what city that sits here in the United States today? Denver, Colorado.
What?
Absolutely. Look it up.
I trust you.
Absolutely.
Like...
He gave him, instead, he couldn't pay him the money. He's like, hey, I got this land in this place called Denver, Colorado. And yeah, that's how he was able to get back on. He took that land, wound up selling it, and starting Charles Heidsieck champagne all over again.
Okay. So Moet.
Yes.
Everybody knows Moet.
Yes.
Everybody knows them.
Mm-hmm.
What you got?
I'm sorry?
What you got on them? I feel like you got a story for them.
I mean, Claude Moet was probably like the Donald Trump of like champagne. He was like the most hated man. They were like the Walmart of champagne. They weren't the first, but they were like the first to kind of like make it like a global brand. Claude Moet was the founder of it. Yeah, like they literally were. Them and Veuve Clicquot were kind of like the Bloods and Crips of champagne back in the day. Yeah.
I know Veuve Clicquot is not who we think they are.
I mean, they are to an extent. I mean, put it like this: they didn't like Moet, but Moet owns them now. So they are all under. Everybody didn't like Moet. Moet owns them now. Runar, Krug, yeah, they all hated Moet.
But like,
Man,
without compromising my integrity here, they were like Chanel.
right,
If you will.
yeah.
And if you know the history of Chanel,
Mhm.
you know that they were sort of like funding things in the world that were not good for everyone.
I mean, there's a lot of houses that was doing. I mean, it's a lot of houses that was kind of doing that. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say that they have a how can I put it? I'm not gonna say now, but historically, they have a by any means necessary mentality.
Yeah.
And put it like that.
Yeah.
By any means, you gonna get this champagne. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I see someone put in the comments, this is Black History Month, I'm getting Champagne History Month. And I mean, that's pretty real because it all interlocks into Black history. Because like even the story about the cotton going, I mean, who was picking it? I was probably in row 89. Back to those terms, picking that cotton. Okay, so like, who in the Black space is working in the champagne world now? Because you know there's so many emerging companies now. It's great to see, as we are talking about Black history with that amazing comment. You know there is Marvina Robinson with Stuyvesant who's come out with the champagne. You know, Isaiah Thomas and his champagne. You know, there are some emerging Black companies.
Absolutely.
What do you have to say about that and sort of like the new up and coming Black champagne companies?
Great question. Well, there is one Black woman who actually, there's only one Black person in Champagne who owns a house. One.
Well, yeah, that's what they say because nobody owns their house. They don't own it.
No. She actually owns her house. Marie Cesare. She's the only Black person.
Oh.
Black woman, Marie Cesare. Yes, she has a. She's actually, I think she's from island descent. She's French because you can't own vineyards in France if you're not
right.
from
Because
France.
families have to accept you in order to do so, and most families are not about that life.
So she's French, but her originality is from she's from the islands. So like her dosage, the sugar she uses for her champagne is sugar cane. So it's a different type of sugar. So in champagne, when they add dosage, the sugar they use is beet sugar. But she uses sugar cane because to represent her heritage for her being from the islands. But she actually has her own house. She has I think she has like 3 different cuvées. I know she has a brut, she has a rosé. Then she has 2 different bruts and she has a rosé. Now she's the only Black person that owns like 100%. She owns her vines, everything is her. Isaiah Thomas Sheeran is an awesome brand. Love Sheeran. I love Jay-Z. Right. I love Stavion, what they're doing, what she's doing out there in New York and in Brooklyn. That's amazing. There's HRLM based out of Harlem, some brothers out of Harlem who are doing some great things. There's Billionaire Row. I think Billionaire Row is based out of DC and Miami. Yeah.
Wait, what is it called?
Billionaires Row. Actually, I got a shirt. That's list. I gotta add Isaiah Thomas and stuff on there. So these are all the Black brands that I have. I have to add. Idris Elba has a champagne, and I have to add Isaiah Thomas's. But there's HRLM. There's Billionaires Row. They have a bourbon as well. You know, 50 Cent has champagne. Yeah, I think one brother's out of DC and one's out of Miami. I think they met at Howard. I'll see the information behind it.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'd love to know who's in the backyard here.
Yeah. So you also have you got 50 Cent, you got La Creme de Roy. 50 Cent actually just won a gold medal or a top wine for the Houston Rodeo this year. You have Drake. Drake has a champagne, my selection. There's a funny story behind that. I have to tell you off the air, but it's a funny story behind that one too.
And if you could introduce us to Drake, you know, we here for that too, you know.
Listen, I'm trying to get introduced to Drake too. I'm always down to get ambassador.
October 1st.
Yeah, absolutely. definitely OVO for life. OVO for life. I mean, I think it's looking good. I mean, you have to understand is that like the perception of like what people in Champaign I think had about us was that we were using the product not the way they intended it to be used, like spraying it on people and women and stuff like that. I don't think they wanted us to do it like that. But you know, we're changing that perception that we really are passionate about the actual the region, the wine, the luxury behind it, the lifestyle behind it. So I like the direction that is going. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, man. Once you get bit by that champagne bug, there's no going back. I can promise you that.
Okay, so like, and you are a master of champagne.
Yes, ma'am.
What does that even mean? And like, you're the only person in Texas that's a Black male.
Yes.
That's a master of champagne. Please explain that, because I think there are people who may not understand really what that means.
Well, I took the whole journey started. I was a mentee of Miss Julia Coley, who I love to death, Mama Julia. I hope she's watching, or if not, you know, I'm sure she will see this. She wound up, you know, starting Black Wine Professionals, and she came out with a scholarship, partnered up with Laurent Perrier, and I happened to be a part of the first group, and it's a very, how can I put it? It's like having another job. Like, it's a very tedious process, because you're basically diving super deep, super deep, and you only have a year to take the test, and you know you have life going on, you know, personally, professionally. Then you kind of like doing it at your own pace and studying on your own. And so yeah, I went through the Wine Scholar Guild, which is a very reputable wine certification group, and I took my test in September of I took my test in June of 2021. I found out in September of 2021. I got a 98 out of 100. Yeah.
What? Okay, do you remember what questions you got wrong?
I remember the one question I did get wrong was a map question. It was because the map was it was like two small dots like close to each other, and I kind of knew I got that one wrong. Everything else was pretty simple. It was pretty straightforward. I mean, it was a 10 map questions, 50 multiple choice, and it was like 4 essays. And then you have an hour to do it, and you have a proctor sitting there watching you the whole time. So it's not like you just get an exam, you just sitting there. So somebody's sitting there watching you the whole exam.
Sounds like the bar, but more intense.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, it's nothing is ever as hard as it seems. I tell that to everybody all the time. I say that, you know. I mean, it is. The hardest part is the studying aspect. Once you get to the exam, it's basically like, it's like practice. You know, you practice hard, and when the exam comes, you know, when it's time for game time, it's easy.
Wow. Okay. And so how do you know that you're the only one in the state of Texas?
Oh, you can look it up. Actually, the Wine Scholar Guild told me. They actually told me, that you're the first African American. I wasn't like, you know, like self-proclaimed. You know, somebody, I'm the self-proclaimed, this, that. No, that Wine Scholar Guild actually told me they self, like, hey, you're the first African-American to pass the test in the state of Texas. I was like,
so
wow.
You need to, like, put your jersey up on the riser.
Hey, no, I got something. No, listen, that's coming. We still in rookie mode. I only been in the industry for 7 years. You know, I haven't even made a decade yet. So I've accomplished a lot, and I'm very thankful for God for that. I've accomplished a lot. Sometimes I have to remind myself how much I've accomplished in a short amount of time. But you know, this is just the beginning. We got some great things coming up.
Okay, so as a person who has a master's in champagne, what do you do? Because I think there may be some people out here who want to learn, like, okay, I love this idea, right? And of course, you know, people of color, we don't know what we don't know. Right. These are new things that we're experiencing within this industry. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, what do you do for a job, right? Mm-hmm. What career opportunities, what exists out there for you? So like, what can someone in your position do for income or opportunities that are existing out there?
I mean, to be honest, outside of doing like the traditional things like working at a wine shop or working at a restaurant, which even being a master of champagne, that wouldn't give me like a wine director job at a place because I have a niche certification. It's definitely like being a master of champagne is not the same as being a master sommelier, which is when you're master of all wines, whatnot. I'm a master of a particular niche, a particular region. Outside of doing the traditional thing, you have to create your own lane. I love educating. I do a lot of classes. I do a lot of personal consulting work for like people who want me to like basically pick out champagnes for them, help them find vintages or whatnot. I do consulting work. I'm basically trying to like line up their personal sellers. And you know,
I think that is amazing. Like, that's awesome that personal sellers,
yeah.
Like, we're not dealing with people like me, and I got like this wine refrigerator with like 12 little spots. You're dealing with people who have entire facilities. Like, can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so usually most people, you know, they go to auctions, they want to buy particular vintages. They heard historically I've been like very, very popular, and sometimes I help them find those wines so they can purchase them, tell them how much I personally would tell them to spend for it, and they'll buy them. Then I just organize them with things you want to age, like some you want to drink within the next year and a half, some you want to drink in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. You know, I had one person ask me, try and find them a wine, like a champagne from 1953. That's the year my dad was born. That's 70 years ago.
My dad was like 25.
Yeah. So, and so, it'd be things like that. I have one person ask me, which I told him straight out, like, I can't find you this one. He wanted the first Cristal Rosé from 1971, like from 1959. I'm like, dude, they made that only for one. They made that wine for a party. Me trying to find that wine, sir, is like, I know you have a lot of money, but I don't think you got that much money.
Well, and like, let's talk about that for a quick second, because like, I know you got a lot of money, sir. With this kind of like niche, you're able to tap into people with access to capital for things that they desire, and they're willing to pay for their desire.
Right.
And I think that's something that we do not know and understand, because it's not something that we have had access to.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, I think that, for us, wine, you have to look at wine as two different types of lanes. One, it is a beverage to drink. It also is an investment. Like I have champagnes like I'm sitting on that I probably won't drink. Like I have champagnes I'm sitting on for when my kids turn 21 years old. I have one for every year, for their birth years. A vintage one for every one of their birth years. Also, I have some like really cool vintage champagnes that I'm just sitting on. Yay, life can happen, things can go bad, I can lose my job, but I know, hey, if all else fails, I can sell this bottle. I know that bottle can give me a good maybe $3,000-$4,000. It's all about how you want to. One of the big things of us is like, hey man, I want to drink it now. Well, I always tell people, if you want to drink it now, buy one to drink and buy one to save. Buy two. Don't buy one, buy two if you can afford two. You only can afford one, save it, because you never know. I'm telling you, like right now, if you have a chance, like 2015 vintage stuff is probably going to be just as good as, but they comparing it to 08. And 08 is probably the best champagne we've had in the 21st century.
Really?
Yeah, they changed it to 2015 vintage right now, and it's cheap right now. So if you see some 2015 stuff, I would get it and sit on it. I would drink one, and then say the other, because they saying it's a really, really good vintage. And there's a lot of 2015s out there. A lot.
Let me put that in my notes.
Yeah, definitely. If you have a chance, I'm gonna say it again. 2015 champagne. If you find it, get it, save it. Because a lot of people are saying,
drink it. Don't drink a supply.
Right.
Save it.
Save
So like, the other thing that I think people may not know is like how to acquire someone like you, right? If they're looking for services, like I want to learn wine education or champagne education, or how can I become certified in this, or get get sort of like this education, or how can I become like you, right? What do I need to do? So like, can you talk about like how someone could take like sort of like your journey as you did?
Well, I would say that, but in my particular journey, I just happen to be blessed. Like when I went to Kroger's and I worked with Kroger's, the person that they put me with actually was studying to become a master's. So I was blessed in that regard. So I didn't have to go search and find. If I had to search and find, I probably would have gave up because I wouldn't even know where to start. But for right now, I say like follow people online. Because right now it's probably the easiest ever been. Because, you know, we don't have to be in the same city or be in the same space to talk about wine and have study sessions, so on and so forth. There's so many different avenues and ways you can do things. One is, you know, through social media, of course, like Instagram, reaching out to people you see in the wine community from your city and around the country. But once you find that, try and find you a really good study group. A committed study group, a real study group, instead of a group that just want to get together and drink. Like y'all actually want to study wine instead of like, hey, we all bring a bottle of drinking instead of studying, which sometimes can be very complex as well. I would say that, but no, it's really like trying to find Yoda, like in Star Wars. It's like really like trying to find a good study group or and find somebody to mentor you, find somebody that you trust. On your journey, I'm always, my door is always open. I'm always available. Anybody tell you, if you reach out to me, I definitely will answer back. Rain, sleet, hail, snow. I may not answer right back, but I will get back with you. And I'll try my best to be as committed to you as you are committed to doing what you want to do.
Okay. Well, I think you had a question to ask viewers today, because you were going to do some sort of treat for people.
I am. So I am doing a rosé bottle giveaway. Because we are on the Rosé Hour podcast. So I thought it would only be right that, you know, I give a rosé bottle of champagne away. But there is a question you have to answer in order to get this rosé bottle. And I give you two options as far as the bottles. You can get the bottle I'm drinking tonight, the Domaine La Bourdier, or I can get you a bottle of whatever the answers is, current rosé that is released. So you have two bottle options, whoever wins. In order to win, you have to answer this one question. Who created the first...
Wait, before you ask,
yes.
When do they have to post the answer and where?
Oh, absolutely. You have to DM, first person that DMs me the answer. First you have to follow me and follow the Rosé Hour. I'm going to ask her, but hey, did this person follow you or follow me? If you follow us both already, it's already okay. But you first have to follow me and her. But the question is, who created the method of rosé that blends Pinot Noir with the white wine? I need the name of the person, the house, and the year it was created. Again, who is the person that created the rosé style of blending Pinot Noir with the white wine? Name the person, the house, and the year. And I'll give you one fun fact about that. Champagne is the only place in the world where you can blend a red wine with a white wine. Nobody else in the world can do that. So DM me that answer. Make sure you follow me and her. So if you only follow me or you just follow her and not the other, when you get it right, I got to move on to the next person.
And we're going to verify.
We're going to verify. We got each other's phone numbers. So, you know, whether it's online or offline, we're going to find out who it is. So again,
see you if you are lying. So tell the truth, because this is a good bottle of rosé champagne that he's rattling off. Like, I secretly want to act like someone else and use one of my other accounts that I spy on people on and do it myself. But
not the spy account. We
all got this. Okay, so don't you have like a friend group and you have a friend group account that y'all use?
Right.
So that's what we do. Okay. Pin the question.
I would definitely do so. Hold on. How can I do that? Really?
I can do it.
You can do that? All right.
But
Thank you, man.
Like get up and walk around.
Right. You more technology savvy probably than I am. Probably more
Okay,
technology.
we gonna make it work somehow to pin the question. Have two devices working at the same time simultaneously. So hopefully, what I just did what it's supposed to do. And Jesus wept. Oh snap! I think I did it. Did I do it?
Oh, I think she did it.
Oh,
Yep.
listen, my niece has taught me something. Okay, I did it. This is what happens when you have birthdays consecutively.
There you go. There you go.
Notice I never said the year or the age. We just told happy birthday to you. Okay, so there's more questions to you because, like, I just feel like if you guys have questions for him too, please feel free to hit that question button because, like, you were like, I understand, like, the whole you were giving us history lessons and the connection, but like, one brother, you need to drop a podcast about. I'm going to. You probably have already heard this before. I know I'm not the only person who said this to you. I'm going to speak over your life today. Well, you need to drop a podcast about the history and Champaign because there is no one in this space doing that.
Absolutely, and I've thought about that, and I do definitely. I probably should. I've heard that from multiple. Even my dad told me that. He was like, "Listen, I talked to Champaign so much to my dad. He'd be like, listen, son, I love you, but I don't love you that much. You need to let the world know this information because you go beyond deep. Like, I mean, this is Champaign. I like wine. Don't get it twisted. I like wine, but I love Champaign. Love Champaign. This is my why. This is my why.
And I mean, like, even the conviction you have when you're telling those stories, it's very like I feel like I'm picturing what you're saying. And so it's like, you mean Hitler was doing what? He picks. I was like, he's out here like, like, you have something there.
I appreciate that.
So do it.
I appreciate that.
And I think everybody who agrees, go ahead and DM, like, tell him, agree, because we need this podcast. We need it.
I mean, it's I have so many things that I want to do. I used to be a teacher. I used to teach history, so it goes hand. And I come from a family of teachers. My uncle just joined the line, and he's a former educator. So I come from that. I come from that line. Preachers and teachers, so it comes naturally.
And you're from St. Louis, so of course, historically speaking, St. Louis has a lot of history itself.
Absolutely.
Come on now. Don't make me start
Absolutely.
speaking on the Midwest. Go ahead and do what you gotta do. Just make it happen.
Midwest are the best. We the best dressed. We have the best personality. So I believe.
Everybody loves us.
Everybody loves us.
No one knows
We're like the melting pot. We get some of everything. Some East Coast, some West Coast, some down south. We got like the gumbo of the country. We get it all in one with us.
Exactly. And I mean, the only argument I get into with people is about pizza.
Oh, okay.
And okay, there is St. Louis style pizza.
Absolutely.
It's not Chicago style.
Yeah, I mean, listen, everybody makes mistakes.
Oh.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody, it's okay.
St. Louis in that arch.
Hey. It is a wonder of the world. It is the gateway to the West. We are the best.
I don't know what that arch is doing.
Oh my. The same thing the Sears Tower is doing. It's just sitting there.
First of all, you can lean back and see the city. Don't try it.
Well, you can go up in the elevator and see ours. You can go up in the elevator, go to the top, and you get a beautiful view.
And just look at an arch.
That's absolutely.
McDonald's, and you can see it.
Oh, gee, that hurt.
This is where the Midwest goes left. We do have love do have a little shade.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago, St. Louis, so it's always, it's a love-hate thing. It's a love-hate.
Yes.
I get it.
57, that highway is very long, so it gets very annoying. The other thing I was going to ask you too is like, what made you move from St. Louis to Texas?
Okay. Well, going to Southern University, we're in between New Orleans and Houston. So we used to come, TSU is here, or Texas Southern is here. You say TSU, some people don't know what you're talking about, Tennessee State or Texas Southern. So we used to play Texas Southern in Prairie View. And so we used to come to Houston all the time.
What sport or what?
Oh, we play, they're in the same conference as us.
So were you in the sport or?
Was I in the sport? Yeah, I played baseball. I had a baseball scholarship. So.
Oh, okay. So that's closer. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were okay,
Yeah. Even I used to come to Houston all the time, and some of my closest college friends are all from Houston. So I used to come visit their family. My godfather actually lived in Houston, so it was kind of like second nature. And the crazy thing is that my dad went to Southern as well. This is where he thought about moving, but he wound up going back home. So it was like it really was second nature, and it was a place where I can come, have a fresh start. Houston to me is it's very vibrant, very cultural. It has a lot of culture for everybody, not just blacks, but if you are a race, there's something for everybody here in Houston. That's one thing I do love about it. It's diversity. It's ableness to fit every price point. Fine dining, regular dining, street food truck. They have something for every race here in Houston. I really, really love it. The hospitality scene in Houston is very underrated. I think we're finally getting our just due. Hopefully Michelin decides to come to Houston. Finally, or come to Texas finally, because we do have some phenomenal restaurants. So just overall, the Houston hospitality scene and wine scene is killer. When I first got into wine, Houston used to be like the laughingstock of Texas. Like really, we really were like the laughingstock. We only had, when I got into wine, we only had three master signs. Now we have 8.
Oh wow!
In the span of 7 years. So it's and it's growing, and there's more to come. So I'm very, very proud of my city. The one thing I'm disappointed in my city is that there's only 4 black songs, period.
Oh.
In the whole city of Houston.
Wait, there's only 4 black songs, and I think there's less here in DC, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That is crazy. See, that's why we have to, that's why with things what Tahiri's doing with Hugh Society, what Mama Julia is doing, with Black Wine Professionals, what I see other people doing. I think it's very, very important. Those scholarships, those opportunities to educate, go to conferences, go to these festivals, network, be a part of it. If you're kind of hesitant and don't know which route to go, just go to one of the festivals. Most of these people I'm naming are going to be there. You're going to see these faces. If not one of them, probably all of them. That's really a good way to connect as well. It's just take your weekend. They're all fun. It's not like you're just going to class. It's nothing but good wine, good fun, and it's a great networking opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And I'm not a WSET. I'm not a sommelier. I am just a lawyer. Right? I'm a lawyer with a podcast that wants to amplify other people's stories, and to be welcomed into the space is amazing. And everyone that I've met has been so generous and so just so cool. Because it's like I'm very clear. I am not a WSET. I am not trying to get a certification. I am not an expert. I am very Renee. I am going to say this is good. I cannot taste notes. I'm not going to tell you I tasted strawberry. I'm going to say I like this and I don't like that, because I think that's what most people sort of feel when they drink wine. But what I want to do is make sure that I amplify the stories to connect the everyday consumer to all of these amazing brands. And that's what I'm here for.
I mean, I think that's what's most important. At the end of the day, it's all about enjoying what's in the glass. That's all it's about.
Bad juice. Tell me, you're a good sommelier or bad? Like, how do we know?
You're asking me?
No, that's what we're here to do. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like I said, like I heard on one of your podcasts, we use the black sommelier. Like you said, wine is very subjective, and I think people get so intimidated because they want to be perfect, or they want to feel like they want to sound crazy when they speaking about it, but no one can tell you what's right and what's wrong. Like I wish I could show you a video of my 10-year-old describing fruit punch. Dad, it smells like red crayon and daisies, and it smells like licorice. This one smells like my room after I didn't clean it up. Like I'm like, for sure, son, you got it. Fruit punch.
That's what
cool.
It smells to you, because it's your palate.
Right.
It's what your senses say to you. Like, I know people are like, oh, it smells like cotton candy. For the life of me, I still can't smell cotton candy and liquor. Like, I cannot.
You didn't get cotton candy in that wine at all that day? No cotton candy at all?
I still can't smell it. I still cannot smell the cotton candy. My mom even called me and she's like, did you get it? Girl, I even went and got cotton candy and tried to drink with it. I did not get the cotton candy.
I mean, the one thing I will say is that you do have to train your palate. You are going to try a lot of things that you don't like. I'm not going to sit here and say I like every wine. There's a lot of wines I don't like. But you have to get your palate, train your palate to try and taste different things. One thing I do recommend people doing when you do drink a bottle of wine is try it when it's first open, then drink it a couple days later, see how the notes change. And then if you try it maybe a week later, usually after a week it's probably turning bad. You know what I'm saying? So I would say do that. That way you're getting it from first opening to some oxidation to when it's fully oxidized. That's probably the best way I can say to taste it, because usually a wine goes through 3 phases.
Yeah, I think you're. Well, I don't know. So I know you're right, and I appreciate that, because I have done that with many bottles of wine where I'm like, day one I'm like, and then day two I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah,
you know. So the oxidation process is so huge, and I think so many people do not realize how that plays into a bottle.
Absolutely.
And even like when you go out to like order a glass of wine or some champagne, and like restaurants do not know, they don't do all the time what they're supposed to do with like closing the bottles and food. And like sometimes you can be like, I don't know if this is tasting right. And we don't feel comfortable saying like something ain't right,
Yeah.
And like, how do you tell a restaurant or a winery, like, y'all ain't do y'all due diligence and close this bottle right?
I had that happen before.
I
had that happen before. Actually, I won't say the restaurant, but I was at home and I had purchased a bottle of 2008 Dom. And as soon as they poured it, I was like, this bottle is turned. And they were like, there's no way this bottle is turned. I'm like, bro, this tastes like straight vinegar. It smells like vinegar. Like I can smell it. I said, let me get the cork. The cork smells like wet cardboard. Like that's one way you can tell. If you smell vinegar, or if you smell the cork, it smells like wet cardboard. Everybody know what wet cardboard smells like. The bottle is bad. If you pour it, if it's a red wine, well, wine does die. I hope people understand. Wine is a living organism. It's alive when you're drinking it. When wine dies, it turns a brick color. Whether it's white or red, it's gonna turn a brick color. If you pour that glass and it looks kind of like that rustic red color, some wines naturally do have it, like a Sangiovese. It kind of has that. If you have that rustic red color and it smells like vinegar or that wet, dirty
like
cardboard,
feel mildewy,
mildewy and whatnot. It's telling him it's a bad bottle, and then he wound up tasting it like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, sir, this bottle is bad. Like, yeah, I don't want you to have to open up another bottle of 2008 Dom Perignon, but bro, this bottle is bad, man.
I do want you to open up another bottle of 2008 Dom Perignon because I'm paying for it.
That is true.
Open it up. That's what I'm paying for. But we as people of color, sometimes we get a little,
I would say this. It's like anything that we do. Walk into every situation confident. stand your ground on what you believe. You believe it's bad, it's bad. And if you don't like something, I don't care if they open up the box. Hey man, I know it. I thought I wanted this. Hey, it's not doing it for me.
Yeah.
Get something else. It's okay to say no. You don't have to commit to what you don't like.
Yeah.
Especially with them wine
prices,
especially with them restaurant prices.
Yeah. It's a stale smell, and I came in late. What y'all talking about? And what are y'all sipping? So someone wants to know what you're sipping. I know we're at time.
Okay.
But this is a great conversation. But someone wants to know what you are drinking.
I am drinking Domaine La Bordier. This is 100% Pinot Noir from the Côte d'Ivoire. Single vintage, Dulce Foyer, which means sweet madness. It's made in the Saignée method. Saignée method is when they take the grapes, let the skin soak, so it turns into a nice pinkish color. It's very fresh, crisp, light, and refreshing.
Nice. And okay, of course, because I feel like I have to call you the Champagne Master. Like, that's a very amazing title. Like, come on. Can't call you by your first name. It's like Hashitashi, right? Like, Hashitashi. So, how can people connect with you and follow you and make sure that, like, they're in the know with everything that you got going on?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram at champagne_master. Actually about to drop my website for my company in probably the next week or so. And I can give you a brief rundown on that. I'm actually in the works of doing some importing. So I have that going on, bringing in some nice grower producers to the Texas market. But the ultimate goal is to open up the first 100% African-American owned champagne retail shop and bar in the country. So that's the ultimate goal. So I need to get with you on that too.
Yes, because Isaiah is my uncle, like my play uncle. But like we go back because we Chicago. I don't know why I just threw up the folks. I'm not gang related at all. It's just Chicago. But and I am very into LA. But all that to say, I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you.
So happy for you to join us. I hope that we can have you on again. And I plan to be in Houston later this year for several things, both professionally, work-wise, and personally. So hopefully we can do a live in person because there's a lot more to come.
I would love that. I got the perfect spot for it.
Yay!
Especially with your pink. I got the perfect spot for it.
Yay! You know, I love rosé.
I know.
It's gotta be pink.
I know.
Yes, and I will be at your someone said they're gonna be your first customer. I'll be your second customer at your Black-owned champagne establishment.
Thank you.
Just make sure that I can package it up in my suitcase.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for allowing me to be on your show and gracing me, allow me to grace you with my presence. And you have a blessed evening. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Happy Black History Month. We have Black History, right?
Happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month.